Okay, so welcome everybody. My name is Vincent Wong, and I will be your teacher for this course. And so today, the purpose is just to go through some basic things with you regarding what is expected of the course and how you will be evaluated. And I'll talk a little bit about the assignment as well. Where you can find the assignment, how you can submit the assignment. And if you have any question at any time, please do stop me and let me know. Okay, so this is GNED 225 and it's human longevity. I actually went through everybody's program list, and I know that we have a very diverse group of students here. We have people who are from the biomedical programs. We have people who are from the automotive program. Some people are from the culinary program. So in that regard, it is very, very diverse. And so the information that I'm going to be presenting to you for each lecture is going to have a very low baseline. Okay, I'm going to assume that nobody has the science background related to the topics that we are going to be talking about. So in that regards, we are going to have a level playing field. And you don't really need to know a lot of the science. I usually just teach you the bare minimum in order for you to understand some of the ethical issues. So for example, when we talk about vaccines, I will teach you a little bit about the immune system. I will tell you about how your body creates immunity. Nothing too complicated. And once you understand the basics of it, then you can debate about the supporting vaccines or against. Some people are against vaccination, right? And I believe you can have a better argument once you have a better understanding of the basic principles behind it. Okay, so as I mentioned in the email, the course is going to be asynchronous. This is actually the only time we are going to be meeting in a synchronous manner. And the reason for that is, again, all of you are from very different programs, so the timetables are all over the place. It's almost impossible for me to schedule a slot where everybody can attend the session. So for that reason, I chose to have the asynchronous option, which means you will be doing the learning on your own. Okay, so each week I will be sending you reminders. I'll be posting announcement on the course shell, so you know exactly what to do. Okay, and when there is an assignment that's being due, I will send you a reminder. And if before the test, people feel that they need to have a tutorial session or something, then we can arrange to meet again to have a live session. Okay, maybe like a Q&A session. But for now, everything is going to be done asynchronously. Okay, and for those of you who couldn't join us today, right, you will be watching this recording on YouTube, basically. Okay, and if you have any question that I did not address during the tutorial session, feel free to email me. So first, what is the course about, right? Well, the course is human longevity. We have about 8 people here. So can I get some response in terms of what do you think longevity means? What does human longevity means? You can either type it in the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and tell me what you think.
I'm guessing it has more so to do with like in regards to the overall like life expectancy. Well, it has to do with the life expectancy, but it's like generally how long, like the overall health or the overall life expectancy of human beings.
Yeah, that's precisely what it is, right? So this course is a lot of people think you take this course and then you learn about how to live a long life. Unfortunately, that's not really what it's about. We are actually going to look at, as the student mentioned, human life expectancy and how it has been sort of increasing for the last a few decades. People have been living longer and longer. So the course is kind of separated into 3 separate sections. Okay, so we will be in the first section. We will be looking at factors that has been limiting human longevity. Okay, so what are some of the reasons why people are not living a long life, in the history of mankind? For example, there are prevalence of diseases, okay, access to food source, right, and clean water. All these things are limiting factors in terms of how long a person can live, okay. Once we identify those factors, then we will be looking at discoveries and innovations that allow us to overcome those limitations. So, for example, when it comes to diseases, there are two major discoveries that have allowed us to kind of deal with that, right? One of them is antibiotics discovery, and then the other one is the development of vaccines. So we'll be looking at those things, the story behind those, as well as controversies surrounding those issues. Okay, so perhaps there is no better time in talking about controversies around vaccines, because the COVID-19 vaccines is being rolled out, and needless to say, there are a lot of ethical issues surrounding that. Okay, there are proponents of having vaccine mandates, meaning should the government impose that everybody in the population must get the vaccines, or should they not? Okay, what about workplace, right? People who work at hospital, right? Should the hospital mandate their staff of getting the vaccines? So those are some of the controversies that we are going to be looking at. Then we are going to look at the limits of these new discoveries as well as innovations, meaning sure, vaccines are fantastic in that they protect a person from deadly diseases, like polios, measles, and mumps, and all that stuff. But recent years, there are things like anti-vaccines movements where people are hesitant in getting vaccines, and some actually are anti-vaxxers. They do not want their kids or themselves to get vaccinated. And you can see that very, very in full-on displays, right? In recent news, right? You see these protests. People are saying, it's my body, my choice. And because of these anti-vaccines movements, the vaccination rate has actually been declining. And vaccines is kind of interesting because it only works if a majority of the people in the populations are vaccinated, right? And that's what we call herd immunity. And when we cannot achieve the herd immunity, some of the diseases that were kind of not there anymore will kind of come back, right? So we see a resurgence of things like polio, measles, and mumps, and those could negatively impact the human life expectancy again. And similarly, with antibiotics, we have problems with antibiotics misuse, right? You might have heard of the emergence of superbugs, these bacteria that are basically resistant to many, many classes of antibiotics. And now, if you get infected by a superbug, the regular antibiotics cannot fix you up anymore. So, even though with these great discovery and innovations, we were able to extend human life expectancy, but because of the misuse of these new discoveries, we are kind of reverting back to the old ages. So we will be looking at some of those uh, topics. Okay, and finally, we'll be looking at some of the last frontiers that we have not been able to conquer yet. Okay, on top of my head, for example, cancers, we have not been able to find a way to conquer cancer. Cancer, for the most part, is an aging related disease. There are more people who get cancers in the older populations than there are in the younger population. So we will look at some innovations in terms of cancer treatments. And also, when you cannot treat the cancer itself, then the patient is actually in a lot of pains. So to deal with pains, people use opioids, and as well as cannabis recently. And so, what are the implications of using opioid as a treatment for pain management? And of course, you might have heard of the opioid crisis that has been going on. That actually has caused a lot of people to die from overdose, that kind of things. So it's all kind of related. in that respect. So we will have a lecture on that as well. And looking into the future, we will be looking at biotechnology, right? Very excited in the biotechnology realm is something called CRISPR technology. You might or might not have heard of that. It's the new ability to edit your genes, and that is quite promising in terms of coming up with treatments for diseases that have no cure so far. And also looking into the future, we will be looking at artificial intelligence, okay, how to use AI to help extend the human longevity, human life expectancy, basically. So that's the course, and everything is actually uploaded online already. So let's go to the course webpage right now, and I'll show you where to find things. But any questions so far in terms of what I'm talking about? All right. So this is the homepage, and this is just a welcome note that tells you what to do this week. So for week one, you should be getting a copy of the presentation. These are all hyperlinks, so if you click on it, it will take you directly to the files. But I'll show you how to go there without the hyperlinks. Okay. So you want to go up here to the content, and if you go under the lecture, you can see that we have a total of 10 lectures. Okay, so this week we will be looking at lecture 1. Okay, so there's the PowerPoint slide. Maybe you can print it off if you want, or just have it on your computer. And then this is the lecture recording. If you click on it, then it will take you to the, it's basically just a video on YouTube, and it's me going through the lecture with you. Okay, so I try to keep it short. I try to keep the recording to under an hour as much as possible. Sometimes I go, 10, 15 minutes over, but you should be able to finish it in one sitting. And after that, you also would want to get a copy of the study guide. Okay, so the study guide is some questions related to the lecture notes. I mean, I would really recommend you watch the lecture recording. Don't just try to read the PowerPoint slides yourself, because there are quite a bit of extra information that I try to put in the recording that you would not be able to get from just reading the PowerPoint slides. And once you've watched the recording, you can try to answer these questions to help you study. All right. Now, there are no textbooks for this course. You don't have to buy anything. And if you need extra material to study from, I try to find some reading resources from online. So, they're called Reading 1, Reading 2. And then if I find some interesting link, especially the links that I mentioned in the lecture notes, then you can click on it and just explore yourself. And sometimes if I find good videos online, you can click on them to watch them as well. And what's important to know is that the readings and the additional resources, they are not going to be testable materials. Okay. On the test, I will only ask you things that I covered in the PowerPoint slide, lecture recording, and the study guides. So any extra information that you read that I did not talk about, you are not responsible for. Okay. Course calendar. Okay. If you go back to just content again, let me see if I can go back to table contents. On the side, there is a folder that's called useful information. There is the course outline that you can download, but I'm not going to go through that. What's more important is the weekly schedule. Okay, so if you click on that, it will tell you what you are expected to complete each week. Let me see if I can make this bigger. Okay, so for this week, you will be doing everything related to lecture one, which is population dynamics, and then next week you'll do vaccination. Okay, but everything is posted online already. If you want to move ahead and get ahead of the schedule, you're welcome to do that. In fact, it's probably better because at the beginning of semester, right, it's usually not as heavy the workload, so you might want to get a head start and just gain a bit of grounds when you can. And over here on the last column, there is the due dates for various assignments and tests. So you can see there are two tests here, test one and test two. They are each going to be 25%. So that makes up 50% of your final grade. And test one is going to cover material from lecture 1 to 5, and test 2 is going to cover material from lecture 6 and 10. So there's a question in the chat, a test on lockdown browser. No, the test is not on lockdown browser. And they are going to be, there are two types of questions on the test, okay? Number one, it's going to be your standard multiple choice, okay? And number two is going to be multi-select. Okay, so these are questions that are going to have multiple correct answers, and you have to select all the correct answers. So there's going to be a mix of those questions. In terms of how many questions, I don't remember on top of my head. I think it's going to be anywhere between 30 to 40 questions. I will post that information when we get closer to the test day. Okay, so the test will be available on these dates, and it's going to be available from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So you can do it anytime during that window. And the test will be about 1 hour to hour and a half time limit. Okay, so as long as you finish before hour and a half, and I'll tell you what it is later on, I haven't decided yet, then you're okay. And also, this is probably very good news for you. The test, I will allow you to have 2 attempts. Okay, so you can do the test 2 times. However, the final score will be the average of the 2 attempts. Okay, so if you get I don't know 70 on the first attempt and you're not happy with that and you want to try it again, and you get 80 the second time, then your final score will be 75. All right. Now you don't have to do the second attempt. If the first time you get 80 and you're like, I'm happy with that, I don't want to risk getting a lower grade, then you can just keep the 80. Okay. You don't necessarily have to do the second attempt. Any question at all? Okay, fantastic. Then the next thing you can see here is there's going to be 2 assignments. So the assignments are like mini assignments. They're 5% each. In fact, the assignments are available right now. I'll show you where to get that in a bit. But then the first one is due on February 5th, 4 p.m. And then the second one is March 5th, 4 p.m. Uh, I mean, I'm kind of a flexible person. Like I understand there's a lot of stuff going on, in people's life and, with the lockdown and everything. So if you are, you know, need a day or two extension or something like that, it's not a problem. You just let me know. Okay, I'm pretty flexible in that respect. But the test, right? You have to finish within that time window. So where do you get the assignments? The assignments are actually, because of the way that the eCentennial operates, I have to make them such that they are like quizzes. But it says assignment. Okay, so you can see assignment 1 is vaccination ethics, and if I click into that, it will say time allowed is unlimited. Okay, so that means you can start today if you want, and you can just go back and work on it until you feel that it's ready, and then you can submit it before the deadline. So I'm going to go ahead and start it. Again, right, like it says it's a quiz, but it's not a quiz. It's actually an assignment, and it's just 2 open-ended questions. Okay, so I'll read you the first one. As COVID-19 vaccine nears, governments, employees, and health experts are contemplating the idea of making the vaccine mandatory. In about 200 to 300 words, explain your position about making COVID-19 vaccines mandatory. Do you support national mandates? Do you oppose national mandates? Or are you somewhere in between? Okay, so you just type me what you think, okay? And you support your argument, right? So it's really open-ended. Uh, uh, it's like an opinion piece, right? So there's no right or wrong answer. As long as you can justify your position, then you're gonna, get good grades. Does that make sense? Now, if you don't understand what vaccine mandates are at this point, then you have to, of course, watch the lecture recording on vaccine ethics. And after watching that, hopefully you will have a better understanding of what it is. Okay, so just two questions, and then you will submit it. Okay, I think I have to submit it right now, otherwise I cannot go back out. But yeah, obviously answer the questions before you submit in your case. And then it's done. Okay, so if I go back to the quizzes, then you will see that there is the assignment number 2 as well. And then you can see the tests, my test 1 and test 2. You cannot go into those yet because it's not available until these dates. And you can see over there are two attempts. So that's pretty much those stuff that I want to talk about. And now let's talk about the course project. Okay, the course project is going to have two parts to it. First part is the proposal, which is 20% of your final grade, and then you're gonna have a research paper, which is also 20%. So let me see where you can get the assignment. You go to content, and there's a folder called course project. And then this is the proposal. Okay, so I'm gonna, I mean, you can click on the proposal, it will take you to it. I have a copy on my computer, so I'm just gonna show you that one. It's much easier for you to see, it's bigger. Okay, so this is the proposal, and it's again 20%. So what you want to do is number one, you have to choose a topic. Okay, so here is a bunch of topics that are related to things that we will be learning in the course. So the next pandemic, we already have a pandemic right now, okay, but some people say this might not be the big one. They always say there's going to be a big one that's really, really serious. They say there might be another big one coming, and how we can prepare for it, because obviously, right, a lot of people have died because of this pandemic, so it has significantly affected life expectancy, right, for many people, especially in developing countries, right? So that's why it's related to our course. So here are a bunch of topics. You can choose one that interests you, and if none of them interest you, and then you have some other idea that you really, really want to do, just send me an email, tell me the topic, and then I'll see if it's relevant, and then I will approve it. But these are pretty good topics that I would recommend you to choose one from. And once you choose a topic, the next thing you have to do is you have to come up with 3 main research questions. Okay, so the proposal, it's related to the paper that you're going to write. Okay, so essentially in the proposal, you're going to come up with a bunch of questions, which you will then go research the answers for those questions. And then once you have the answers, you're going to put them into a research paper and submit it to me. Okay, so just to tell you what the end product is first, so that this would make sense to you. Your final research project paper will have 3 parts. Okay, you're gonna basically write me 3 pages. The first page will be background information related to your topic. And number 2 would be controversies surrounding the topic. And number 3, it would be some kind of looking ahead, some kind of future direction in your topic. Okay, so when you write your research questions, you want your questions to be related to those areas. Okay, so you want questions related to background information, maybe some statistics, history, current and future implications, so on and so forth. Okay, so we come up with 3 of these big research questions. Okay, and under each of these research questions, you want to come up with specific questions. Okay, so 5 specific questions. And then you want to find some reference that you're going to use to do your research. Okay, so you want to have 3 resources for each of the main questions, and it could be library material, government websites, textbook, journals. Just don't use Wikipedia or blogs like that, right? Use the actually use the college library website. They have a lot of good resources, and you're going to reference them properly. Okay, so what you need to do is you would complete the template on the next page, and you would submit it on eCentennial. Very important is that you submit your assignment in either Microsoft Word format, right? .doc, .docx, or as a PDF. If you're using a Mac computer, please do not submit it as a page file. Okay, I don't have a Mac computer at home, so if you submit the page file, I cannot open your assignment. Okay, and that would lead to delay in grading, and we just want to avoid that. Okay, so make sure you convert them. Google has free Google Docs that you can use. Right? So if you don't have Microsoft Office, you can use that. And in fact, as Centennial students, you're entitled to a free copy of Microsoft Office. Okay, so if you need instructions on how to get that, I can let you know. Just send me an email. So this is the template. Okay, very easy. You don't have to type your own proposal. You just literally fill this in. Okay, so my topic is, so pick whatever topic you want. Okay, so I don't know, legalization of cannabis. Okay, so that could be a topic, and then you're gonna come up with your main question. Okay, so the main question could be, what is the history of cannabis legalization in Canada? Okay, and then under that big question, you would come up with 5 more specific questions related to this theme. Okay, and then you would go on and find some reference, and then you would put your reference here. Okay, very important. Don't put your reference like don't just paste the link right in here as your reference. You should do your APA format, right? So I have an example here that I'm going to copy over. So there is, one possible way that you can do your reference. Okay, I mean you should do APA, but then if you use MLA or other format, again, I'm not a nitpicky person. Okay, as long as you reference using some kind of referencing style, I'm okay with that. Okay, so you would do that for this whole. Fill in the entire template, and then you will save it. And you can upload this onto the assignment folder. All right, I'll post a video on how to upload assignments later if you have trouble with that. But my understanding is, a lot of you, this is not your first semester. This course is not offered to first semester students anyways, so you would have an idea of how to submit assignments. So that's the proposal. It's 20%, not super onerous. In fact, it should be quite easy, and that is due on. I forgot already, but if you go into the assignment folder here, you will see, yeah, the proposal is due on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Okay. Any question before I talk about the research paper? Anything at all that you guys are concerned about? No, everybody's happy. Okay, there's a question in the chat. That's okay. No, okay, thank you, Jenny. All right, then the research paper. Let's see if I have the research paper right here. This is a research paper. And once you've done your proposal again, right? Very important is you don't have to answer the questions in the proposal, right? Okay. Some people actually type in all the answers in all of the questions, submit the proposal to me. The proposal, I just need to see the questions. Okay. I don't need to see the answers to it. Okay. You save the answer yourself, and then you're going to use those answers to prepare your research paper. Okay, so like I said, your research paper should separate into three parts: background information, which includes things like statistics, history, trends, so on and so forth. And then you're gonna have controversies. And when you present controversies, I understand everybody has a view, and which is totally fine. But when you do the research paper, I want you to present arguments from both sides. So, for example, talking about legalization of cannabis, uh, uh, um, you want to talk about people who support the idea and people who oppose the idea. One example is uh, 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 driving under impairment. Okay, so for alcohol, there is a accurate way of testing to see if someone has alcohol in their system, right? The breathalyzer test. Okay, but when it comes to testing for cannabis use, there's no good consensus in terms of what is an accurate test for that. Okay, so you want to give me some arguments from both sides if that's one of the controversies that you are going to be using. Can you post examples of a proposal and research paper? I would rather not do that because then everybody is just going to try to emulate that example, and I really want people to kind of explore you know, on their own to think about what kind of questions they will ask. But I'm here to help. Okay, if you're really stuck on your proposal, you can send me a sample. Don't send me the whole thing and ask me to look at it before you submit it. But if you have a sample of a big question and then some small questions, and you just want to make sure that it's okay before you finish the rest of the proposal, just send me an email. I'll be happy to look at it. Okay. And then finally, there is the looking ahead aspect. Okay, so the paper should be 3 pages long, double space, font 12, and you should use proper in-text citation. And if you're not sure what that means, you can click on the library link here, and it will give you more information on how to do that. Okay, let's go back to the course page for a second. Um, under course project, there is also a library presentation. This is a presentation that was done when I used to teach this course, face to face. I would invite the librarian to come and show people how to do the research. So obviously that's not possible now. So I just post the presentation from the librarian, and hopefully you will still be able to get some useful information, because it does tell you, examples of research question, right? Which is perhaps what you guys are looking for. So you don't want something that's too complex, and you don't want something that's overly simplistic. Okay, so here are some examples that you can look for. And then it will tell you how to use the library collection to look for resources to write your paper. Okay, so definitely go through that. And if you have questions about how to use the library resource, you can either contact me, or better yet, I will show you how to contact the librarian directly. So under useful information, okay, there is a FAQ as well. If you need to, if there's a question, you can check the FAQ to see if there's an answer for it. And if not, just email me. And here's college support and services. There's a link for library resources, library e-resource, and I know the library has a live chat function. I actually was not able to locate a book that I was looking for, and then I talked to the live chat person, and he was able to find it for me within 5 minutes. Okay, so if there is a particular resources that you are looking for and you can't find it, take advantage of that. There's a learning center, and then this is the for student with learning disability, for example. If you require accommodations, feel free to reach out to me, and I will accommodate you as best as I could. And if you need any kind of counseling services, here's the link for it. Okay. So my email is right here, vwong@centennialcollege.ca. Now, I reply email usually within a day. Okay, so if you send me an email and then you haven't hear back from me for more than 2 days, it means I did not get your email. Okay, so just send again. All right. There is another Vincent Wong in the college apparently, and sometimes students send it to the wrong teacher. So again, if you haven't hear back from me for more than 2 days, just send the email again. Okay, and I teach several classes. So when you email me, please let me know you are in, GNED 225. So that way I understand your question in the right context. And hopefully I'll be able to help you with whatever you need help with. And that's basically it for the orientation. Any concerns, questions that I haven't addressed before I let you guys go? Just looking at the chat. No? Okay. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to come for the orientation. And if you think of anything else later, please reach out to me, and I'll be happy to have another conversation with you. Our weekly meetings are on Tuesday, right? Oh, so again, right? There's no weekly meeting. Okay, I cannot stress that. This is asynchronous. This is the only time we're going to meet. You will have to do the learning on your own schedule. Okay, so everything for the course is posted. You don't have to come back here every Tuesday to meet with me. Okay. All right. Well, have a fantastic semester, and we will be in touch. Okay. Take care. Bye now.
Have a good day, sir.
Okay. You too.